Hey guys, this is Gaijin Hunter. Today we got the second trailer for Monster Hunter Wilds at the Summer Game Fest. I'll give you my breakdown and thoughts, but I have to first explain why this trailer left me wanting. After the last trailer, they said that they would have the director and executive producer at the event to introduce the game. So I was expecting what we normally get when these two are in hand, which is Togoda-san explaining the gameplay and how the combat is going to be more evolved than any other Monster Hunter to date, which is what they say on the website, and Fujioka-san, who always covers sort of like the main story premise, the village that we're at, the kind of world and atmosphere and things that we're going to interact with. However, for some reason those two were a no-show, and they just started out with a huge announcement that is cross-play between all the different platforms, which is awesome, and then they just showed a new trailer that felt more like an extended preview from the first trailer. More herd gameplay, cinematic presentation, random chatter between our hunter and NPCs, greatsword and bowgun, and a lot more sand. Overall, I think what we're seeing is great, but normally a trailer should present the gameplay hook a little bit more. We get a few interesting examples of how herd gameplay will work, but really nothing beyond that. They hinted at focus mode being a big deal in trailer 1 and how our weapons will function differently in this game, but they haven't really committed to explaining it. The new wounding system was mentioned in the Japanese blog post after the first trailer, but they later removed it and it doesn't make a comeback here. We get the name and a good look at the second starter monster, Balahara, which is great, but nothing more than just a few seconds tease of the main monster of the first locale. I think if they're heads down working hard on the game and are scrambling to put together trailers, they should have just started the promotional campaign a little bit later. I think the fans would have understood. The Windward Plains is cool, but they're really only showing the sandy state of it, and that alone cannot be expected to hold the hype over the teaser video, the first trailer, and now the second trailer as well. So I'm not underwhelmed by what I'm seeing, I'm underwhelmed by what they're not showing us. Which, at the end of the day, is not a bad place to be in. Okay, let's do a breakdown of the trailer and then I'll give you some more extended thoughts. Okay, we get a look at the extended scene of Nada on the ship, overlooking and noticing something in the distance, which we see now is a herd of Balahara going crazy in the sandstorm. The way that they set this up with Nada is, I originally thought maybe he was like the child of the ace gunner or something like that, but it seems like he really is just a native of this wild region and whatever village and culture they have, and doesn't really seem to understand what a hunter is or what a hunter does. So kind of like a fish out of water. Maybe we're charged with bringing him back to where he comes from, and throughout this journey we'll get to learn about his culture and how they live in these wilds. Okay, here we see some really nice animation work on the Balahara as they swim through the sand, and I think this is really a clear message that leviathans are back, and they don't need water in order to do water-like physics, so I definitely could see the case for maybe a sand-based Lagiacrus, or maybe they'll have a water map coming up. Who knows? Very interested to see, but I do like that they're showing off more fluid environments and sort of movement of these monsters. This scene really kind of reminds me of like a mix between maybe something like a Plesioth and like an Almudron, but as we'll see later when we get a close-up of the monster, it does look quite unique. Okay, where the first trailer was showing off sort of a guy as the main hunter, this one's showing off a girl. Definitely personally like the mini skirt, slight like short pants that she has on. Good for mobility, maybe not so good for hunting, but hey, fashion above functionality is something that I definitely believe in. And look at that palico, oh my gosh, that is the most adorable thing, and I love the hat. It's giving me some John Candy vibes, honestly. But I really wish we could see more gameplay with the palico, but we do hear the palico talking here, which gives us a better idea of how, you know, we'll be able to get more conversations going. Not because we have our handler off screen talking to us all the time, but because we'll have a palico behind us talking all the time, which I'm a fan of. And in the distance they see someone who is very obviously not a hunter, scrambling and playing back and forthies with this ugly monster, the Balahara. I personally am a little grossed out by this monster. I'll be honest, the oyster-like mouth that splits up into three gives me kind of like Aliens vibes. I think those are little eyeballs, those little blue things around it. You could definitely say it's unique looking. I can't imagine how I would make like a plushie out of this thing. This goes back to my personal taste for cute monsters. It's just, it feels a little grotesque. I don't know if there's a word for it, but like that sort of like hive kind of insect thing where like you've got like the trifold mouths opening up like demogorgons and stuff. To me, it feels a little creepy, but hey, it is a design choice. But that's what they're going with. It's interesting that it's got that glowing light from inside its mouth. I don't know what that's all about. Maybe it's an element or something that it does. I don't know. But we do see that this NPC needs some help from our hunter. So this is likely the introduction scene to our very first hunt against a Balahara. I think the highlight of the scene, and it's worth going back and watching again, is the facial animations on the hunter. It's very easy to just look at this like it's a cutscene with a regular NPC, but once you realize that's your hunter that you're going to be able to customize the look and appearance of, doing all this rich animation, it really gets me excited for the character creator, and definitely is a highlight for me of this trailer. However, I do I do find it really funny. You've got this guy who's like really running around in circles around these starter monsters and goes, "We need to shake them off, follow me." It's like, buddy, I ain't following you anywhere. Like, I'm the one coming to save your butt, not the other way around. Now, it does mention on the website that when you're riding on your mount, it will auto-evade certain attacks. People are either going to be a fan of that or not, but you can see where like the hunter there tried to do like a charge slash with the greatsword, and now some more bowgun stuff. So I'm curious of how this mounted gameplay could work with other weapons. I don't know if it's just for luring herds away or repelling them, or if you can actually hunt while you're on a mount. I don't know. I really wish they would go into a little bit more detail here, but they don't. But here we go. We get into the very first introduction hunt for a Balahara. The thing I'm most curious about here is how this is going to play out with multiple players on multiplayer, because it does seem choreographed very much towards the hunter and the NPC. So maybe the different players in the room will all see the same cutscene but with just their hunter, or maybe they'll find a way to squeeze everybody in. And this is like one of the very few shots of the world in its lush and beautiful colorful state, and I really wish that they would show this more, because I think it's a huge contrast to the sandstorm state that we're being seen through most of these trailers, and I think there's just huge potential here to show off more variety in this one locale if they would lean into it a bit more. In here, I think that they're just showing that the Doshaguma and the Balahara get in like skirmishes a lot, and it seems like they're equally matched in power, because when there's a lot of those bear-like guys, then they can overpower them. If there's a lot of the Balaharas, they seem to be able to gang up and, you know, attack one of the bear guys. But I just personally get this impression that if you're just chilling out on your mount watching them go at it and there's more than one of them, it's just like a herd. They just don't feel like large monsters to me. They kind of feel like medium-sized monsters. But, you know, that could just be my pessimistic nature or something coming through. But yeah, it's nice to know that we're going to have herd fights. And, you know, on top of turf fights, we'll have herd fights with some of these monsters. Like, that could be interesting. We see this mysterious structure that is in this first map. They're using like the exact same GIF that they were looping on the website, I think, which is kind of interesting. Okay, and now to overanalyze the living daylights out of this monster. I don't necessarily think that this is going to be the flagship monster. I do think that it's going to be the apex monster of the Windward Plains, but I can't see them using thunder in every locale and every variation. I imagine they're going to have much more variety, so I think that this could probably be the apex of this map, but we'll have to wait and see, because we didn't get a name for it, we didn't get any information about it, just a tease. I do like the nickname Thor Magala, which people are giving it, because it does seem to have really strong sort of front legs, talons that it's using in sort of like a stance that like a Shagato or a Gora Magala would take. But then it does this type of railgun like lightning zap at the monster, which is great. It looks very cool, and it's a flying monster, which I love, of course. But that's all we get to see of it, so let's overanalyze it just a little bit more. Now, I'm really curious how this works from an ecology standpoint, but it seems that when it's charging up, it's charging its laser. It gets these sort of like lightning glands popping out from the side of its neck. Again, that whole idea of like these like, I don't know what to call it, like insect, or just like, you know, opening up, and it's got like the gooiness of the mouth and the crevices and stuff coming out. I'm seeing the same thing here, which is what I called alien, which I think Some people were like, wait, sci-fi alien? What are you talking about, bro? And it was just, my lack of words to describe what I'm seeing here. But it does seem like it does charge up its laser really big and lets it out. And I love the silhouette here. I think it's great. It has sort of like its two horns are kind of like elastic, and he points them downward so that it has like the lightning going up across its back, down its neck, and through the horns into a concentrated burst. And then the horns kind of almost like tentacles just kind of move. So it's got like two horns underneath its chin. It's got like two fleshy horns above its face, giving it a very creepy, unique feel. I do look at the wings here and sort of the tail, and I think, what type of cool weapons can I make from that? It's got the same sort of color scheme as Gogma, who I love, so this sort of like blue and dark blue, abyssal blue, I totally dig. So yeah, I want to learn more about this monster, so come on, Capcom, give us some more info. Okay, then we see that the Doshaguma are attacking a village, so we do have some cultural villages that we're going to be visiting here. At least in the beginning locale, there's a village. It looks like this is where either the boy's from, or maybe he's not. Maybe they're just passing through. It's kind of a troop, I guess, like the young kid who just stares out into space and doesn't know to digest stuff, and you just sort of like grab him and bring him along the journey. But it seems a little weird that he would have no understanding of what a hunter is and what they do. But it does seem like Doshaguma attacked the village, so they're probably not very fortified if a common monster such as the Doshaguma are presenting such a threat. Maybe they have a defense system with all these rocks and the gems built up, and maybe recent instability in the region is causing their defenses to fall. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, but I wish we can learn a little bit more about this village, and if it's going to be just a story thing or something we're actually going to interact with at a deeper level. But anyways, we're coming to save the day, and then we get to jump into action. And that's it. So yeah, there's not a whole lot to really analyze here. We're just seeing an extension of what we saw in trailer 1, which is good. I think as a trailer 2, though, I think they hyped it up a little bit more. Maybe I just hyped myself. Let me know down in the comments if I'm just being a moron and I overhyped myself, or whether or not this delivered on every front and I'm just blind. Let me know. But again, I'm not trying to doom it. I think the game is going to be great. I have full faith in Tokuda-san and Fujioka-san when it comes to this kind of stuff. It's just, I don't know, there's something about the promotional way that they're rolling this out that's just, maybe I'm just starved for Monster Hunter, and so like, I'm expecting and hoping for bigger things to chew on. I don't know, maybe that's the thing, but not to sound like a broken record, but I was going through sort of the first and second trailers for previous new generations of games and just trying to see how this lines up and why I might be reacting a little bit differently to these ones. But Monster Hunter World Trailer 1 set up the concept of that living, breathing world, focused on the ancient forest, and why the game itself was called World. Showed off Anjanath and Rathalos, focused on gameplay and how the new approach would affect the sort of pacing and the sort of content of the hunts. In that same vein, I think the first trailer did a good job at showing us that this game will feature more dynamic and ever-changing environments, as well as herd mentality, monster-to-monster interactions, thus the name Wilds. As a second trailer, though, I felt like this was really just an extended version of trailer 1, as they really don't introduce any new locales. They basically showed the same stuff that they showed in the first trailer, but a little bit more detailed, and basically no gameplay for the various weapons that the hunter uses, which I found a little odd. Doshaguma and Balahara are good monsters to show off as the entry-level hunts, because they're herd-driven, but I don't think that they're strong enough to really hold up all three different teases that we've got so far. I definitely think more footage of Chatakabra would have been nice. And overall, I guess I'm just wanting more. We are going to get a new trailer at Gamescom, which is in August, so about 2 months from now. They're even going to have a hands-on demo at the event, so we'll be able to get to see some gameplay footage, which is going to be great. And then finally get an idea of what to expect from this game. What is focus mode? How does it affect all the different weapons? Does the mounting gameplay, is that just for the setup of a hunt and the herd stuff, or is that going to be an integral part of an actual hunt? How are the other weapons going to react? Because all we really got to see so far is Greatsword and Bowgun. Are they going to add a 15th weapon? I doubt it at this point, but if they're not going to give us a new weapon, which I think there's plenty of room for them, there's archetypes for, weapons that they haven't done yet. I do think that they need to sell us on what's going to be different this time when it comes to combat. Not just the herd mentality and that kind of stuff, but I want to know how the weapons are going to perform different. So that seems like focus mode is going to be the big one. So yeah, I expect fully that we're going to get lots of information on that. And I think we're going to get our, what I would call the proper second trailer probably around that time, and start getting some more monsters to geek out about. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought about this trailer. If you know I'm being a little too harsh, do you feel the same? But either way, I think we are all in the same boat that we're excited to learn more about this game, and yeah, can't wait for Gamescom. Hope you guys enjoyed my analysis. Hopefully you don't get too poo-pooed by my overall impressions, but I wanted to be honest with you guys. I know some people call me a shill, some people call me a doomer, but I'm just a person and a hunter at the end of the day, so I have things that hit with me and things that don't, but in the end, it's all in the name of love for Monster Hunter. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until next time, happy hunting.